Hello, everyone. It's 1 o'clock. This is Ed Crowe. Appreciate you coming on today. As I had mentioned earlier when I checked in, I probably wouldn't have scheduled this had I been smart enough to realize it was the Friday before 4th of July weekend, but happy 4th of July weekend nonetheless. And here we are, so you might as well go through this. What we're going to talk about today is the 2024 Medicare Advantage and PDP commissions. We'll talk about the referral fee, which hasn't changed. I'm going to clarify that for you because we do get some confusion when it comes to that. And then it's important to know how much you're going to get paid in a given state, but it's also important to know when you're going to get paid that amount. So we'll go over initial rate, when you get the full amount versus a true-up versus pro rata versus both. So we'll talk about that and then sprinkle a couple other quick things in there and get you started. This webinar will be pretty quick, probably about 20 minutes. And again, I know it's Friday, so maybe you're already having a cocktail or not, but it'll be pretty straightforward. All our webinars are recorded. We put them on our YouTube channel. So anybody that registers, or anybody for that matter, can watch our webinars on our YouTube channel. And the way you get there is you go to @Crowe Medicare. So in your URL in the search bar, not search bar, in the address bar at the top, just type in @Crowe Medicare. It'll take you to our YouTube channel, or you can just Google search it if you want, YouTube Crowe and Associates. All our videos are up there. We'll put this one up there as well. During the course of the webinar, you can send questions in. Unfortunately, Eddie Crowe is not smart enough to answer those questions while he does the webinar. It's kind of like the chewing gum and walking at the same time thing. But I will certainly answer them at the end for you. And then lastly, as we have an events page, we will email that out to everyone that registered. And on that events page, it's the same page, so you can always just go to that page. We will always put our webinar registration link for the following week on there, and we will always put our agency Zoom meeting. And if you're not part of Crowe, you're free to join the Zoom meeting. That's a little different than this. On this one, I just ramble on and talk. And then people ask questions at the end. During the Zoom meeting, I do a quick agenda of just new and things nationally that might be applicable to us as agents, and then we open it up and just have discussion. So if you want to join that Zoom meeting, you can find that on our events page, which we will email out to you, and then you can save it to your favorites and just check it once a week or so for the registration links for the upcoming webinars and Zoom meetings. Okay. Having said that, let's get started. Here we go. Okay, so Medicare Advantage and PDP commissions for 2024, here they are. I did it a little different, really poorly formatted slide. I apologize for that, but it's functional. And what I put on here was the Advantage commissions, and I put the whole history on here. So the CMS Maximum Allowable Commission. So that means it's the most commission that CMS will allow a carrier to pay a non-agency agent, meaning an individual. That's it, what we call a street agent or an individual at the agent level. So that's the most a carrier is allowed to pay you. As you can see, it's been going up every year for quite a while now. And in 2024, we have different buckets, and it's the same. It hasn't changed. They have the Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and DC bucket, and as you can see, a new MA sale will be $689 at the very bottom there for 2024. $689 for new, $345 renewal. California and New Jersey is always the highest, and no difference. This year it's gone up again. California and Jersey will be $762 and $381. And then the national rate is every other state, with the exception of Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, which I'll show on the next slide. But the national rate means everybody else, like New York and North Carolina and Florida. That's $611 and $306. So those are your Medicare Advantage commission amounts, max commission amounts for 2024. The PDP is just one bucket. They don't split that up. So for PDP plans, it's going to be $100 for new and $50 for the renewal. If you have questions or you're just joining us, you can watch the recording of this on YouTube, the Crowe YouTube channel. And if you have questions, send them into the webinar and I will answer them for you at the end. Now, this is a really poorly formatted slide. I'm not sure why the heck there's all those colors in there, but I was too lazy to change it. So just enjoy, I guess, Anyway, Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands, they are their own separate category. They are always much lower than all the other areas, and as you can see, they've gone up again, but having said that, much lower amounts. 418 new, 209 renewal. And I have poorly formatted the referral fee thing. Let me explain that. The referral fee has stayed the same. The referral fee is $100 for MA, $25 for PDP. And let me explain, people get confused about this. There's two types of referral fees. The one they're referencing here is the referral fee that you can pay to another professional. It could be any kind of professional, whether that be an accountant, a P&C agent, another insurance agent, ACA agent. You can legally pay them a referral fee for an MA referral of $100. You can pay them a PDP referral of $25. People will say, well, 100 seems like a lot, but if you think about it, we do all this work, we try to find clients, we pay money to find them. We'll drop money on mailers, on online leads, to do seminars, and then to try to write people. But if you've got a good agency, like a P&C agency or an ACA agent referring you business, and they're giving you layups because they're got qualified buyers and they're giving you the warm intro, $100 is a bargain. It really is. The acquisition cost for the average agent is well over $100 a sale, and there's a lot more work. So if you get somebody who's giving you really good referrals, you can give them $100 as long as they're not a Medicare beneficiary. Or if they are a Medicare beneficiary, they got to be a professional in some other area, meaning a licensed agent perhaps, or an accountant, a lawyer, P&C agent, something like that. But you can give them $100, and on PDPs you can give them $25. The difference there is on referral fees for Medicare beneficiaries. That's $15. So you can only give a referral of $15, a cumulative of $75 for the year, to a Medicare beneficiary. And 75 is meaning, like, if they give you multiple referrals, you're supposed to only be able to give them a referral gift valued at $15 up to a max of $75 for the year. That's the difference. So $125, that's for referrals to other professionals. $15 when they refer to that, that's to other Medicare beneficiaries that aren't in the business. Okay, I see some questions came in. I will answer those at the end. Hopefully that was fairly clear. If not, if there's a question pertaining to it, I will clarify at the end. Okay, so when we talk PDP compensation versus MAPD, when I go over these rules, PDPs are the same exact rules. PDPs are subject to full commission versus renewal versus pro rata, same as MAs. Okay? One thing to keep in mind as we get into this. MA and PDP payments that you rate during AEP, meaning business you write from October 15th to December 7th, the carriers are not allowed to pay you on that until January at the earliest. So, get in the scenario where you're writing a lot of business during AEP, if you got a carrier who pays in a week usually, even if the effective date's 3 months ahead of time, they won't do that during AEP because they can't pay it till January. Renewals, I'll talk about this more a little later. Renewals and everything you write, regardless of effective date, pays out in January. It starts in January. We'll talk about that more. These rules, the payout in January rules, are not applicable to supplements or new to Medicare sales, meaning if you write somebody brand new to Medicare for a December 1, or even new to Medicare for a January 1, that carrier can pay you right away like normal. But business that is written using the AEP election is business that they can't pay you until January. But you got somebody brand new, they're a December 1 T65, great, write them. You're going to get paid full commission in December, no pro rata, you'll get the whole amount, and that renewal is going to start in January. Renewals always start in January. So when you write late T65 is late in the year, it's almost like you're getting paid on them twice, the full commission plus the renewal starting in January. And again, not applicable to supplements. The fact that your AEP election business you write doesn't pay out during those AEP months, it's a good reason to write hospital indemnity plans, cancer plans, dental, vision, those kind of things. Because those kind of supplements as well, because those kind of plans will pay during AEP. So sometimes it's nice to have that to help supplement income while you're waiting for your January commissions to pay out. Okay, so how much do agents actually get paid, and when do they get paid the full amount on MAPD or PDP? Well, it depends, like a lot of things. The first is the full commission. When do you get the absolute full amount? And that's that scenario I just talked about. That's when it's new to MA with no prior plan history. So it's their first Medicare Advantage plan, and they've been on no type of Medicare plan previously. If that happens, so if you got somebody turning 65, let's say, turning 65, you're going to get the full payment regardless of the effective date. I don't care if it's January 1 or March, July, October, or December. If they're new to Medicare and they didn't have a PDP or a plan prior to that, this is their first Medicare plan, you're going to get paid the full amount. They're going to pay it in two payments. They're going to pay you the initial, which will be half of the amount, and then they'll give you what's called the true-up, and the true-up is the other half, so you'll be made whole. We get that question a lot. Hey, I wrote a brand new to Medicare. I only got paid half. And we say, well, just hang on. Depending on the carrier, the second half will be coming a week to 3 weeks from now. But you'll get it. And some carriers do it kind of weird. They'll pay you like the first half will be maybe 9 months worth. Then they'll charge back some of it, and then they'll pay you on the true up, they'll make you whole. But if you do the math, it'll be the full amount. For example, if you're in Connecticut, it'd be the $689. So somebody in Connecticut, for example, if they write a brand new to MA, they had no prior plan history, they're turning 65, let's say, or coming up off group coverage, then you're going to get a full payment of $689 paid in two payments. Most companies make you whole in the second payment. Okay. This is why something like seminars or other activities that generate T65 business at the end of the year are so important revenue-wise for us. If you're writing people for effective dates of September, October, November, December, really valuable because you're going to get the full commission because they're new to Medicare, and you're going to get the renewal starting in January. So you're going to, like I said, get kind of paid a time and a half on that business. So we get a lot of people that really load up on things like our seminar program, and things such as that to write more T65 business for those late effective dates. Okay, then you've got unlike plan changes. So, and I'll give you a couple examples here. So if somebody's you write somebody on an MA or an MAPD, but they had a PDP previously, and this happens a lot. You get somebody who says, I've never had an Advantage plan, and maybe they're on a PDP and a supplement. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, I'm going to get the full commission. Well, maybe not. Because if they had a PDP in place before, as I'll explain in a minute, you'd be subject to pro rata. But, for example, you write an MA or a MAPD, but they had a drug plan in place. Or you write them a PDP and they had an MA in place. Or maybe they had a cost plan. Well, what's going to happen then is you're still going to get the full commission, but it's going to be subject to pro rata. So, meaning, if you write them, for example, for January 1, well, you're fine, even if they had a Part D plan, because you're going to get the full commission because it's a January 1. But if you write them for March 1, then you're only getting 75% of the commission because they were only going to be enrolled 75% of the year. And to give you an example of this, so you have somebody who changed they had a PDP and a supplement, and you change them to an Advantage plan for a July 1 start. First time they've had an Advantage, you're thinking, all right, I'm getting full commission. You're not. You're going to get full commission, but it's going to be prorated. And the way they're going to do that is if you write them for July 1, they're only going to be enrolled in the plan for 6 months. So you'll get half of the full commission, $689 times half. Because they were only enrolled for 6 months, so you'll get a payment of $345. The only good news there is the renewal is going to start in January. Okay, then what about like? So same. So meaning, I'll just go use the MAPD scenario. You got somebody who's in a Medicare Advantage plan, to switch them to another one. They go from MA to MA. Well, that's called a like plan change. And you're going to get paid, first of all, only a renewal rate, so half of the commission, so you're half. And it's subject to pro rata both. So if we do a scenario on that, let's say somebody has an MAPD, you switch them to another MAPD for an April 1 start date. There's only half a payment because they already had an Advantage plan, and it's going to be prorated. So you enrolled them for April 1, you're only getting 3/4 of half because they were only enrolled for 3/4 of the year, potentially. So 345 times 0.75 is 258.75. They round up, but 258.75 is what you're going to get on that case. Hopefully that makes sense. So really you got those three buckets: brand new to Medicare with no plan history, new to Medicare or new to Part B, but they had a PDP in place, or Advantage to Advantage. Those are kind of your three scenarios. All right, fair market value renewal. So is the companies every year, as you saw earlier, the renewal amount, went up in every market. So what most carriers do is anything you got on the books, the renewal will also go up. So if you've got cases you wrote in 2020, 21, 22, 23, when it hits renewal in January, it's going to, usually with most carriers, it will be adjusted up to the new renewal amount, the max amount. They don't have to do that, but that's the most they can pay, but most carriers do pay it. They could pay less if they wanted. They don't have to pay the max, but most do adjust your current renewals up to the max. I know for some companies, they have a cutoff, like business you wrote prior to 2015, they don't adjust. So I have cases where I'm getting a much lower amount on the renewal because it didn't make the cutoff. But anything in the last 4 or 5 years, you're right, should increase. Let's see. Okay, so let's see where I am on my bullet points here. I kind of lost track. Anyway, like I said, means all your existing renewals should change to match the 2024 renewal rate. In other words, we get a pay increase every year. All right, Medicare Supplements. They are not CMS regulated, so they do not follow these rules, any of them, in fact. People ask me a lot about supplement commissions, and commissions are not like Advantage. They vary tremendously from state to state, carrier to carrier. You will get supplement commissions ranging anywhere from 14% to 27%, and that's 14 to 27% of the premium that will pay to you. Most supplement companies will pay on a 9-month advance. Some states pay much higher commission than others. And usually the commission is higher on a Plan N versus a Plan F or G, and that is often done because the Plan N premium is less, so they want to pay you more, a higher percentage, so it makes sense for you to sell a Plan N versus an F or G plan. So usually the commission rates are higher on N in your lower premium plans. Most companies pay on a 9-month advance. Some will even pay up to a 15-month advance. I've never liked that very much because what if your person only is enrolled for a year and switches to something else? You're going to get charged back on that advance. Some states pay a flat dollar amount, and that's usually in your guaranteed issue states, like where I am in Connecticut or New York, Massachusetts, Maine. Instead of doing a percentage, a lot of times they'll do a flat dollar amount commission. In most companies' commissions, in some states, companies only pay commissions for 6 or 7 years on supplements. Most will pay longer than that, but they will go down. So let's say you're writing such and such carrier in North Carolina and it's at 25% commission. You'll get that 25% of the premium every year for the first 6 or 7 years, but then it'll go down after that, and usually substantially so. A couple other quick things on supplements: all-time GI states versus underwritten states. So if you're in a guaranteed issue state, that means it's a state that never allows underwriting on a supplement, ever. New York's a great example. So when you write a case, you're going to get paid on it. End of story. Non-GI states pay comp for new to Medicare, new to A and or B, and they pay full comp for fully underwritten cases. So if somebody's new to Medicare, if they're within 6 months of getting Medicare A or B, you're going to get full commission and it's guaranteed issue. Let's say they've been on Medicare for years and you give them a supplement and it's underwritten. They pass underwriting. In an underwritten state, you'll get full comp. However, you will get into the scenarios where you're in an underwritten state, somebody's had Medicare for a long time, and they have a guaranteed issue to move to a new supplement. Usually you're not getting paid on that. Examples of that is a person who's on group coverage but has had Medicare A and B already for a lot of time, more than 6 months. They come off that group coverage. That's a GI, guaranteed issue, because they come off group. And you write it GI, but they've had A and B for 2 years, let's say. Usually you're going to get paid little to nothing on that case because it's a non-new to Medicare guaranteed issue. Same thing with the trial right or moving to another state. Somebody lives in Connecticut. They moved to South Carolina. They moved, so it's a GI. You can put them in a supplement on a guaranteed issue basis, but it's a non-new to Medicare GI. You're probably not going to get paid, or if you do, it'll be very little. And just remember, AAP and OEP, you can switch to a supplement during that time, but in an underwritten state, if those people have been on Medicare for a while, they are subject to underwriting still, even though it's AAP and OEP. There are exceptions to these rules, of course, like in Maine, in Oregon, there's birthday rules. Some states have guaranteed issue, annual guaranteed issue, which is 30 days a year. There are exceptions, but in general, that will be subject to underwriting even during AAP or OEP. Big question that comes up. Do I need to check commissions? Yes, is the short answer. Especially initially, when you first write the case, you need to check it. Well, I mean, you don't have to, but you really should, because we've found there's about a 10% error rate. Meaning, let's say somebody's just writing like crazy, and they write plans every year, and they write 200 plans a year. Well, they're going to have about a 10% error rate, so they need to be checking that, especially initially. Once it's on the books and you're getting paid, usually the renewal's not a problem, but it's at the initial writing of it that you can have errors with the companies not paying you. So you should check. It is a huge pain in the ass to check commissions because you've got commission statements from various companies, renewals coming in. We are rolling out a system that will track this for you. It'll be a portal for every agent that works with us. And it will consolidate all the carriers' commission portals into one place for you, so you can way more easily check your commissions, and it even has a commission error report that will run automatically for you. Medicare Advantage commissions are set by CMS, so obviously, as we talked about, that limits how much a street agent can make. Of course, I have other webinars that talk about what if you're a GA, MGA, SGA, FMO. Well, then you can get paid more, additional amounts over the street compensation I showed you earlier. Chargebacks, hit that one quick. Rapid disenrollments. People often think, okay, the case was on the books for 3 months, I'm good. So if it disenrolls, I won't get rapid disenrollment chargeback, full chargeback. It actually has to hit the 4th month. So if that client disenrolls at the end of month 3, you're going to get a full chargeback. If it disenrolls at the end of the 4th month, then you're going to get a prorated chargeback. They're going to charge you back 6 months, or 8 months rather, of that commission. So rapid disenrollments mean it disenrolls within the first 3 months and you get a full chargeback. Sometimes you don't get charged a rapid if it's a change initiated by us, the agent, within the same carrier. And I put usually because usually you won't. It's not foolproof, but that is usually the case. That's what I got. I'm going to check for questions. Make sure we are going to have a webinar next week. Thursday is going to be about our IESNP plan that's exclusive to Crowe and Pinnacle agents. That is United Healthcare's iSNP. Has very good benefits. You're talking about $1,600 out-of-pocket max, widely available. A lot of people qualify for it, both in a facility and at home. And again, we have an exclusive offering for that. You can only get paid on it if you have your contracts through Crowe or Pinnacle. And we're going to do a webinar on that next week, next Thursday. Let me see if we have any questions. Okay, let's see. What about social workers or nurses? Yeah, you stay away from referral fees to any medical person. Social workers are a little more iffy. I do see people pay referral fees to social workers. I'm a kind of a conservative person, so I would say probably stay away from social workers. Absolutely stay away from, I'm not even being conservative on that part. Absolutely stay away from anybody who's in the medical profession. Very good question. So this question is tenacity of some of these call centers significantly increasing. Okay, so I'll summarize. Somebody's asking if call centers and the aggressiveness of them is increasing rapid disenrollments. Yes, 100% they are. I mean, even on their own business, they have a much lower retention rate than a face-to-face agent or even an individual agent selling by phone. Call centers get a great deal of disenrollments. Somebody asked then, how do we minimize that? For example, the call center is calling our clients. Tell your clients not to answer the phone. Tell them the only person that will call them is you. The only would either be you or the carrier. I would leave it to you. So that is the best defense, is tell them stop picking your phone up and talking to people about Medicare. If you have questions or need to talk about Medicare, you talk to me. That's the best defense. Also put them on the do not call list. That'll help a little bit. Other than that, if they're going to pick up the phone, talk to people, they might get phone enrolled. So that's the best thing I can suggest for you. See if we have any other questions. For those who came on late, let me go back to the very beginning. I think hopefully most of you saw it, but there's the rate. There's the commissions for 2024. So as you can see, there's a national bucket: Pennsylvania, Connecticut, D.C., California, New Jersey, and then the PDP rate. I'd shown that earlier, but I saw some people came on late. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any other questions, but definitely get on our IE-SNP webinar next Thursday. That plan will be a huge advantage to us against regular Advantage plans. You're talking, like I said, $1,600 out of pocket max, $200 a quarter OTC, up to $3,500 in dental in some markets, vision, transportation, super low out of pocket max, really incredible plan. And if you work with us, you can get paid on it for the first time ever. So I look forward to doing that webinar next week. Other than that, it doesn't look like we have any other questions. And I appreciate everybody coming on. I hope you have a great 4th, and hope to see you on a future webinar. Thanks. Have a great day.